two keys to 2011. One is that we keep up the momentum of the positive things that were achieved last year. And the second is that we find a way to deal very quickly with the showdowns with both Iran and North Korea. On the first, we really, it focuses very heavily around a couple of key relationships. The first is Russia's relationship with just not only the United States, but also with the NATO, the Atlantic Alliance in general. We forget what happened last fall in the Lisbon summit. I think a lot of people don't understand how significant a relationship and a transformed relationship NATO offered to Russia to take part in cybersecurity and ballistic missile defense, to cooperative ballistic missile defense and other new security areas which were unthinkable a year ago. Whether that happens or not depends upon the next 4 months, because in April will be a critical ministerial. At that ministerial meeting, the Russian minister and his NATO counterparts will get together on these very issues. And in fact, if that happens, it will open up the book to a truly transformed, not just a reset button relationship, but a transforming relationship with Russia. So this is extremely important. On world economics, obviously, we're lucky to get through last year with in this heavy atmosphere of uncertainty that pervades global markets. There was near 4% global growth, although it was very uneven between the West and the emerging countries of the East. But in all of it, the issue of financial instability hovers over everything. And so it's going to be a critical year that the G20 countries do better than they did in 2010 in terms of showing leadership in dealing with these kinds of issues. The whole relationship of China and the United States is critical. President Hu's visit on January 19th to Washington is going to be extremely critical, especially at a time in the new Congress, which is feeling that it has to show why it's different to the American people about jobs, about the economy. This could be a showdown visit, or it could be something where we demonstrate that the two countries are so inextricably linked in their economies that we have to find a way to go over some of these kinds of problems that face both the Chinese and the U.S. The unexpected issues of Iran and North Korea are of course, the big ones. China deserves credit for what it did at the end of last year by putting pressure on North Korea. It certainly made very clear that it would not be a part of any kind of support for a conflict on the Korean Peninsula, and does deserve credit. It's not given credit as much as it should, but at the end of the year, it really did make a difference. I think the North Korean situation now is going to require some very special attention by all of the neighboring countries to how to move this. And of course, in Iran, this is the showdown year. What people in Washington are saying is that at the highest levels of the U.S. government, there's a growing impatience with the engagement policy with Iran showing no results, and that this is going to be a showdown year. So there's nothing more important that all of us need to do than to work on that, so that this is not a year of conflict and surprises, but a year of continued progress.